right. These folks join us. Welcome everyone joining us. I'm Liz Fairclough, co-founder of the investor community, and excited to have Alexandra joined with me from American Apartment Association, Owners Association, excuse me. And excited to have her talking about free resources to tap into to grow your portfolio. So thanks for being here with me.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to finally be on one of your webinars, and I've really been looking forward to it.
I love free resources, and I love when you go put free resources to growing our portfolio. So those are just words that everyone perks up with. But before we jump in, I'd love to welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. We don't take that lightly. Um, Sidebar, I went to a Pink concert this Sunday, and she took a moment in front of 70,000 people that were there at the concert, 70,000. She said, I don't take it lightly that all of you chose to be here with me tonight. Meanwhile, this is a big star, she's been in music forever. And she had this such a gratitude of us taking time to be there with her, and I was like, wow, that's a really classy thing to say and how she was. So I'm not Pink and I don't have 70,000 people here, but but thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending time. And as you join, I'd love for you to put your name, where you're calling in from in the chat box, and also what is your intention for today. We like to get down to it and we like to be very focused because at the end of the day, you're choosing to be here. And again, we don't take that lightly, but you can't achieve what you want to do if you don't have kind of going to a webinar with that intention. What do you want to get out of this webinar? What do you want to learn? And so if I'd love to invite you to put your name, where you're calling in from, say a little hello, and then what your intention is for today. But I'm going to jump right in. It is 2:01 Eastern time. We like to start on time and we're going to end about 2:45. So I'm going to give the floor to you, Alexandra. She's going to share, jump in, and thank you so much for everyone being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thank you. And on that note, one thing that I did want to start with is a question. Quick, I know Liz already told you, but I'm the Director of Marketing and Education at the American Apartment Owners Association. We're the largest association in the country, mostly for landlords, but also real estate investors, property managers, real estate agents, and brokers even. And so one thing I wanted to start with was similar to what you were saying, Liz, like, why are you here? But also, what challenges are you facing? I'm really hoping that some of you will share some of those challenges. Is it insurance? Is it finding properties? Is it maybe making that leap to the next property that you want to grow? Is there maybe tenant screening if you're more hands-on and more of an active investor? So I'd love it if you could share that in the chat. Nice to see all of you. I'm looking Lindsay and Andrea or Andrea, I'm not sure. So keep that in mind as we go through this. A couple things for today's agenda. I'm going to just go over AAOA's real estate, our insurance, tenant screening, lease guarantee, which is an excellent risk reduction tool, legal news and resources, education, forms, like legal forms, and vendors and partner discounts. All of this that I'm sharing with you today is completely free. Now, we do have to make money somehow, so I'll touch on that a little bit, but I do really want to share these resources as something that you can use in your everyday real estate investing journey. We really have a little bit of everything for everyone. And so I'll be going over some of these and how they might be a little different even than some of the resources you might be currently using. So I want to start with our real estate tab because I know that you all are investors and this is a very investing heavy group, right? And so I'm really excited to share that we've really just been growing our real estate tab, I would call it, on our site. And you can see down here at the bottom, this is what our site menu looks like. I'll share our website in just a moment, but essentially, you can find off-market properties through our website. And this is something we've been really trying to share with the world. A lot of our members are retiring, or perhaps they're just wanting to get into a different type of investment property. And they will come to us first to market their properties. And likewise, if you have a property that you are selling, we will help you with the marketing. And that is all free. It is a benefit of being a part of our network. You do get notified when a new property comes onto the site. Now, they're not all off market, but many of them are. And we are sort of the first place that our members go to post those properties. And I want to show you a few examples of the properties and where you can find them on our website. And then also, if you did want to sell a property, what that might look like. So just going over here to our website, under the real estate tab, we have find an agent, available properties. So we're going to go to available properties here. And this just
Hey,
gives you an
Alexandra,
idea. Sure, go ahead.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm going to interrupt you. Do you mind just putting your site in the chat box? Some people
Oh,
are asking
sure.
for that so they can
Thank
access it with
you.
you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and I'll put in this actual link here. So that'll make it the same page as us. And then yeah, so this link I think is just really the place for you all. You're probably the most interested in. You could see we have a couple of these listed as off market, but essentially it gives you all over the country multifamily opportunities, a brief description, and for any of these where you might want to, get some more information. If you scroll down here to the bottom, you can fill out your information and select the properties that you are most interested in. You can select contact me with investment opportunities. That'll put you on our list to receive a notification every week when we add new properties. And likewise, as I mentioned, if you're selling, this is a great place as well. If you go here to this get your rental property listed here and learn more, it'll take you to our page where you can also fill out to list your property with an AAOA partner. We're partnered with over 100 real estate agents and brokers that specialize in the rental industry. So multifamily and commercial property primarily. So that is who we would connect you with. If you're looking for an agent and you want to list your property through one of our vetted agents, you do get up to $1,000 rebate when your property sells. You get free marketing on our site. There's a ton of benefits to doing it with us. We have a huge audience. As I mentioned, we have, I don't know actually if I mentioned it, we have 150,000 members. So it is a very wide range of exposure. So definitely keep this in mind if you are in that stage. And then I think the other thing I wanted to share as well is the find the agent. So this goes hand in hand with what I just explained, but you can search here for a city in our network or an area and find an agent that is one of our preferred agents in that location. And we've really gone through an extensive search and vetting process for these individuals. So if you are looking for someone who's not just, a regular real estate agent, but they really have a proven track record, this is a great place to really find that. So that's one of the first resources. The other resource as well, I would say that's probably going to be next in line for you all is financing. So if you are looking for a multifamily loan or if it's commercial, whatever it is, you can get a free quote. We have a partner program with many lenders that, again, we've vetted as well, and they've been able to close quite a few deals actually, and even in the slowest of years that we've had in the last couple of years. But essentially, you can put in here, what's the loan purpose? Multifamily, or property type, multifamily, 1 to 4 unit residential, office, retail. I mean, we have lenders for all of these property types, and also the estimated loan amount, state, and how you prefer to be contacted. This is, I think, one of the easiest ways to get a lot of quotes and a lot of information all at once. Shopping is the way to go, as we know. So I do highly encourage you to use this if you are looking for a lender like this. So that really, I think, sums up the real estate tab. And then I would say the 1031 exchange would be the next thing. This is very popular, as you can imagine, for some of our landlords that might be retiring out, but we do have quite a few different 1031 exchange solutions. These are some partners that we've been working with for several years. You may have heard of some of them. I know they do a lot of marketing on other sites as well, but they do, I think, have quite a special relationship with our members. We have 1031 Capital Solutions, K Properties. Both of them do 1031s, and Delaware Statutory Trusts, which is a really great investing option. And then we have SV Consultants, which we also really like. They actually focus on not just 1031s, but alternatives. They actually have other ways that you can use tax-deferred strategies to buy and sell property. And so if you're looking for something a little more creative outside of a 1031 exchange, there are actually many options. And I think even some of our very experienced investors are often surprised by that. But you certainly can request a free consultation with any of them. They've also listed out quite a few webinars for us, which is great. So you can play a little bit about them and just learn what would be a good fit. Again, I always say, we love it when our members shop. We think that, even though we vetted these solutions for you, there is probably one that might be better than the other for you specifically. So definitely take a look there if that is in your wheelhouse, or maybe you have a client who needs a referral, or you just want to learn about the process because you want to be just more aware of how 1031s work. There's plenty of content here for you to look at. So going real quick back to my presentation here, insurance is another big one. So I got this from a recent article that I read. Since the beginning of the year, rates have increased from 20 to 30 to 300, 400, and even 500%. According to Danielle Lombardo, chair of the global real estate practice at Kansas City, Missouri-based insurance brokerage firms Lockton. So this is to say, and I'm sure you're all aware of this by now, that insurance rates are skyrocketing, especially in some areas. And what we've really done to help with this is to partner with an excellent brokerage that doesn't really necessarily have an interest in making you buy a particular insurance carrier, but really in finding what is the best solution. And when this happens, shopping can be your best solution. I don't think you need to shop all the time for insurance, but if you've had a recent rate increase or you're expecting one, it is absolutely worth the time. They do make it easy. You have to send them in some information, but they have access to so many different carriers, and that, especially if you're in an area where it's pretty limited, it's going to be extremely helpful for you. Another quote here from the article, what's more, owners are getting less for their money. So one thing that we try to do, or the brokers are trying to do, is to find that balance between saving money on the insurance rates, but also still getting enough coverage so you're not super at risk. And they have some special products that can really help fill in those gaps. Another quote here, even if owners decide to sell their properties, transacting in a market with steep increases isn't easy. Some of you may have experienced this already. This CEO here says he's seen rising premiums kill deals because buyers have difficulty getting coverage. We don't want a deal to fall through simply because of insurance, right? That's probably the last thing you want, but it certainly can complicate things. So my suggestion is to get on the search early, talk to our brokerage partner. They're called Insurance Hub, and they'll be able to help you shop. You can also go outside of us, of course, but I do think they're a great place to start. They do offer free quotes that are very detailed. They'll spend the time with you really to get down to what they can do. So even though the insurance isn't free, you can get a free quote and get just a really great analysis. So another quick note here, the insurance is under our solutions tab, which you can see here at the bottom. That's the menu. So we have it also under the real estate tab. And we also have renters insurance coming soon. So we recently partnered with Liberty Mutual. So that's going to be another great way if you are, handling tenants on an active level to get them to get renters insurance. Now, if some of you have that situation and you don't have your renters on renters insurance, I highly, highly, highly encourage you to change that. Renters insurance is just as beneficial, maybe more for the landlord than it is for the renter. And the reason for that is because if something happens to the renter's property, they have the first line of defense as their insurance company, not you. And so if you are involved as an owner in any way or even manager, you want to be left out of that situation. If there is a fire, if there's theft, if something happens, like even a dog bite, all of that really can go through the renter's insurance up to the coverage. And it's so affordable for renters that honestly, it's a no-brainer to just have the renter pay the extra $10-15 a month and then have, you know, $15,000 to $20,000 protection on their property. Then if it goes beyond that, you know, they can pursue the landlord or the owner in some way. But hopefully it doesn't get to that, right? We really want the renter's insurance there as a good padding for you all. And then we're also going to be introducing other types of insurance in a moment. I'll show you some other examples, but yeah, this is definitely a great spot. And then as far as on our site, if you go to solutions in the menu, and then you click on landlord insurance here, that is where you can get the quote. You fill out the form, click request quote, and then it boom, will automatically have someone contact you to get you a quote and gather the information they need. So going back here to the presentation, another big one is tenant screening. So I'm wondering how many of you on the call today are active versus passive investors. If you're involved in the tenant screening process at all, this is going to be a huge deal for you. If you're not, it's still good for you to know because at the end of the day, the types of tenants that are in the rental property can make or break the whole investment. Honestly, I've seen some really horror stories of tenants that can really wreak havoc and cause extreme vacancy rates or damages on the property. And that's the last thing you want, right? So if we can at least control as much as possible who is coming into the rental property, or if your manager can and you can help your manager do that job better, this is all going to be good information for you. We offer tenant screening. The nice thing about it is we do have an apply now link, or you can place the order yourself. Essentially, the landlord or the tenant can pay for it. So it can be free for you. And instead, the tenant would pay the fee. That's an option. The apply now link is nice because you can actually create a link for every property, and that link can go on your Craigslist ad, on Zillow, on apartments.com. And whenever someone fills out that link, you get a notification. That link will have an application, a way for people to upload their documents like their social or driver's license and bank statements. And then it'll also allow them to purchase a copy of their report and also to purchase the report itself. And you get notified and receive the report when that has been completed. So that link really does cut a lot of time and back and forth between the tenant. I really do especially love the document upload, which is just fantastic. So I want to show you a little bit about how that works. So this is my sample account here. When you log into your account with AAOA, which is completely free to create, by the way, you can go into here where it says create screening link. What that does is it takes you to a property area and you can add a new property and essentially put in here, you know, your property name. Let's say it's ABC Apartments, and then you have your address and a phone number in case someone needs to contact you about the property application status. You mark yes for active, and whoever your manager is, if it's you or if it's not, you can leave some comments there and then add the property. Once you add the property, oops, see, property names must be unique. I guess I already did this property. Apartments 2. and then we'll add the property there. So then what this does is it creates here the property, and you can click this button to get the link that you can copy and include it on any site that you want, or just email it or text it to an interested applicant. And that's just a really handy resource. The other option is you go to tenant screening and then you click screen tenants and you can start the order. So if you already have an application in hand and you're already have their information, you can go here and select one of our packages. One of the things I think that's really helpful to note here is that we do offer a lot more options, I think, than some other screening providers. Our most popular, though, is comprehensive, which has, the credit report, address history, eviction, criminal, national criminal. The premium one has just a few more things, and I'll go over some of the benefits of these extra reports here. Obviously, SSN fraud is a great one to have if you really want to be sure that the social they gave you is correct. And then civil judgments and tax liens are public records that are no longer included in a credit report. I'm going to talk about that in a moment, but it certainly is beneficial. In any case, whichever one you pick, so let's say you picked this one, you have the option to pay, or you can put the bill on the tenant here. And then fill out the tenant's name and email and put in the rental property address. This is pretty much it to place the order. This would then send a link to the tenant where they can fill out their date of birth and social and all of that. You do get to see what they filled out, but it really just makes it pretty simple for them to go ahead and do this. So I know some of you might be very familiar with tenant screening in general, so it might be a little basic for you, but I do want to share a few things that I think even some experienced tenant screening, tenant screeners don't know. So let me go ahead and pull this back up here. So another thing that you can add on to your package is an employment verification. So we can verify income or current employment. We can also call a previous landlord. So that's another option as well if you wanted us to do that on your behalf. This is great if you have a lot of applicants and you really don't have the time to be calling all of them. We'd be happy to do it for you. We do 3 attempts and we ask a series of about a dozen questions for each. And, sometimes we get answers to all of them. Sometimes we don't. It depends on the employer or the previous landlord. But I always say it doesn't hurt to ask. So we do put that in there. And this is the part here that I think is what I was mentioning before in the premium package. So I'm not really sure why, but many tenant screening companies never notified people that tax liens, in other words, state and federal tax liens, money that people owe to the IRS, is no longer reported on a credit report. That happened in 2017. Civil judgments were almost completely removed as well. Civil judgments do include evictions. What that means is someone may be evicted and it won't show up on their credit report. So if you are only ordering a credit report and not an additional eviction report, you would not know that they've been evicted. Now, there is an exception to that. If the landlord or property manager decided to take the tenant to a collection agency, and then the collection agency reports it on their credit report, it would come up as a collection, but it's still not going to come up as an eviction. And so that's something that I think a lot of people are still not aware of, even though it did happen several years ago. And the other thing as well is that not only covers evictions, but any kind of lawsuit. So if you want to know if the tenant has been sued for excessive damages or any other reason, the tax liens and civil judgments report that we now include in the premium package is going to reveal that. So I just want to make sure that you all know if you are involved in this process, or even if you're not, what the gaps might be in the data. So that's an excellent one to have. Also, you don't have to provide a social, or the tenant doesn't have to provide a social. We can accept an international taxpayer identification number or an ITIN. We also have international reports. So that's something you can call us to get a quote on and can really, I think, help fill in some gaps. All right, Liz, you have something for me?
I do. I do. We'll take one question just to take a quick break for
Yes,
that.
let's
And
do
then
it.
I have a quick announcement. So Melissa's asking, when submitting a request for an insurance quote, does this only go to Liberty Mutual or does that tool send my information to all insurance providers?
No, actually, it's going to go to Insurance Hub. So Liberty Mutual will be our partner for renters insurance, but Insurance Hub is handling the multifamily. So it is just one point of contact. You're not going to get a million emails. You're not going to get a bunch of people contacting you. You're going to get one person who specializes in multifamily risk, and they're going to reach out to you. We also have commercial risk advisors as well, and then they'll collect some documents from you and give you a quote usually within a few days.
Right. That's great.
Mhm.
I know that I've been on the other end of that where you get bombarded by like 25 providers. So that is very
We try
big
to
deal.
avoid that. We try to avoid
Yeah.
that. Yes, I don't like it
Uh,
either.
So, so please keep the questions coming, Alexandria. I'm just going to do a quick. We used to do our announcements at the beginning, and I just want to do a couple of quick announcements right now, just because it makes more sense. So keep the questions coming. So, just a few things. Want to encourage everyone to know that what we stand on. We believe every woman has the birthright to become financially free. That is what we believe. That is our mission, and that's what we stand for at our community of Invest Her. I would always encourage you in terms of just like free support is post anything you need in our Facebook community. It's a free community for you to ask questions that you need to get, support on, from tenants to all the different things that come up for us as investors. I also want to mention, many people don't even know we have a mentorship program. It's called Strive. Andres and I put this together 3 years ago because we wish we had something like this when we were scaling our businesses. So it's application only for women doing 5 to 10 deals, and they're looking to grow, just like Alexandra is talking about, growing your portfolio. This mentorship program is designed for women that are doing at least 5 to 10 deals, and they're just looking to scale and grow, but with like-minded women. So we give the knowledge you need, the skills that you need to build a business, and obviously the support, quite honestly, with women playing at the same level. So everyone that's going in has that same level of experience. So we're all kind of in that, playing in the, like we say, in the arena, not on the sidelines. So I'll put the link. It's an application only mentorship program. I'll put the link in the chat box, but I want to make sure you knew about our free resources as well as our mentorship program. So little quick announcement about that, and to support the women that might fit for. But Alexandra, why don't you keep going? And please, everyone, put the questions you have in the Q&A box. We're here to serve you. So I'll stop talking.
Great. Yeah. And I really do think the free AAOA membership can be a really great companion to your mentorship program. So, I mean, can't hurt to add it on. Sue is asking here. She says, I was an apartment manager and it was suggested to me to check a prospective tenant's Facebook page, wealth of information. Certainly something you can look at. It is public, it's out there. But just be a little careful from a fair housing perspective as to the reason that you're denying someone that is still legitimate and it just doesn't come off some speculation from their Facebook page. But yeah, I agree. Looking them up on LinkedIn can be helpful to verify their employment as well. So there's definitely some homework you can do outside of just our tenant screening. And I actually encourage our members to do it. And that can also include, of course, checking their income by, calling the employer yourself, although we can do it for you. That's something that I think is also going to be, a big factor. And honestly, one of the places where most tenants are lying is what their income is. So you definitely want to check that. We also have underwriting offered. We call it underwriting. I know some other companies call it something else, but if you didn't want the tenant to be involved at all, and you just want to go in and put in the tenant's name, date of birth, and social, and pop out a report, that is possible. It is something that I would call old school. A lot of tenant screening companies don't offer it anymore. We still do. The only thing is you have to get an inspection of your office. You can work from home as well, but that is required before you are allowed to start ordering reports that way. So lots of options. I think that's something that we like to provide, and I think a lot of screening companies don't usually give. So that's why I wanted to go over it. Another really interesting solution that we have is lease guarantee. So once you screen a tenant through us, it will tell you whether or not they qualify for a lease guarantee, which is similar to insurance in that it does cover any sort of lawsuit damages, losses on the rental. So we call it a security deposit alternative or supplement. So you can still collect a security deposit, but also maybe have the tenant pay for a lease guarantee policy. So essentially, landlords get covered anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000, depending on what plan is selected, for rental losses of any kind. Quick facts. Collection agencies have less than a 17% success rate. So one of the issues that we've seen just across the board is, okay, you have the problem tenant. Usually the priority is just to get them out as quickly as possible and re-rent it so you can fill that vacancy. However, you may never see that money, and that's pretty common. Even if you use a collection agency, even they can't get that money from them. So what this does is sort of mitigate some of that loss that you may experience, even if you're able to get the tenant out. Also, 80% of judgments are never collected, which makes sense. Although this stat might be dated, I haven't verified it lately. It's a little old, but a lot of judgments are not collected. Let's put it that way. And I'm sure maybe some of you have experienced that on the call. So a couple more things about lease guarantee. As I mentioned, it can help you protect that rental income. You can fill a vacancy faster in some cases if, let's say, you had a tenant who is self-employed, or maybe they don't quite make your rent to income ratio, but they're good otherwise. You may want to offer them the opportunity to purchase a lease guarantee policy, just to provide an additional layer of protection for yourself. And that helps them qualify and gives you peace of mind at the same time. So you don't have to say no necessarily, or you can just make it across the board and everyone gets it. If you have a property manager, this is certainly a program to bring up to them that could help to really provide you with that sort of backup. And, you know, as we've seen the economy sort of take a turn and non-payment of rent increase ever since the pandemic, really, you know, it did sort of recover in some sense, but it never really went back to normal. So I think our landlords are really looking at this as something that they can do to mitigate that. So a couple things, you're probably wondering, how much does it cost? Again, this is something that either the landlord or the tenant can pay, or you can do like a 50-50 split if you want. These are the base rates. So depending on how much protection you want, that's going to be the base rate. And then the rate may go up if it's a higher risk tenant. Almost every tenant is going to qualify unless they don't have any credit at all. And so, you know, this gives you an idea. Our most popular is the $5,000 or $7,500 protection plan, and that is per year. So again, the tenant can pay in addition to the security deposit if they're higher risk, or maybe instead of a cosigner. A lot of times they don't want to use one or they don't have one. This lease guarantee can kind of serve as a cosigner. It can reduce or replace the security deposit if maybe they do have good credit, but they don't want to pay out of pocket for a security deposit. And they'd rather pay a lower non-refundable fee to lease guarantee. That's an option as well you can provide. And if the landlord pays, then, you know, they can charge the tenant yourself. You can charge the tenant yourself, or you can just use it as an investment risk mitigation tool for the business. A couple other things, it is for new tenants only, so it has to be done before they move in. Unfortunately, if you have a problem tenant now, we can't really help with that. Tenants with no credit score are not approved, as I mentioned. It is annual, but it can be renewed. I often see some landlords that'll always renew it, others where, you know, if they had a really good tenant, they paid and everything was okay, and they recheck their income and everything is fine still, they may not require them to renew. Regardless of who pays, the landlord gets the reimbursement, but the tenant is still liable for the debt. So they're not off the hook necessarily, but what happens is essentially the money is reimbursed to the landlord, and then the tenant will owe the money to lease guarantee instead. So they are still liable for it. So you only need one lease guarantee per lease. So if you have multiple roommates or whatnot, what we suggest is picking the one that has the best credit because they're going to have the lowest lease guarantee rate. And then if the lease guarantee is under their name, it covers any other names that are on the lease. Just make sure all of the roommates are signing that lease and that they are all a party to it for any notices or anything else that you give. All right, so that covers lease guarantee. And then the next point I want to go over, I just have a few more, so I won't keep you all too long, but we have a pretty robust news and legal resource section. Most of it is completely free. So here in our menu, you see I highlighted education and our magazine as well. So one thing that happens when you sign up for AAOA, and even if it's a free account, you will get subscribed to AAOA Today, which is our biweekly newsletter. We send it out every Tuesday and Friday that has the latest rental industry updates and opportunities. If you want to stay on top of things, I know you get a lot of emails, but I promise you this email is going to actually make an impact. I actually work very diligently with our team to select all of the articles that are in it. We also have an AI in our newsletter that serves those articles to you according to what your interests are. And so you do get something that is a little unique to you, but the pool of articles that are being chosen are coming from us. We're hand picking them. And so I do really suggest going to our website to sign up so you do get involved with the AAOA Today e-newsletter. And then also we have Rent Magazine. So that's a bigger project we put out quarterly, and it is completely digital. So just to show you where that is on the site, if you go under magazine, you'll see all of our issues here. So you can go ahead and take a look. Our next issue is actually coming out next week. So if you are a member, you get an email notification. You'll probably see it in the newsletter as well. But this is a great place to go and check that out. And then for all of the articles that we've put in the newsletter, you can actually go under education and click on news. And this will just give them to you in sort of chronological order. You can also do a search by term down here in the search AAOA box or by category. So, I mean, we put out probably 60 articles a month or so. So it's quite a job. We have a whole department working on it, but I do hope that you'll take a look at this and maybe learn a few things from that. The other aspect of our education is the landlord tenant laws. So this is a really popular one. If you come up to here and you want any sort of legal help, you can click on the state and look up some of the most pertinent rental laws. Now, there's always going to be things that aren't covered. It's almost impossible to cover everything, but we try our best. And then up here, we have a partnership with a legal chat. And so this is not free. I will disclose that, although everything else I've shown you to this point is. But it's certainly, if you did have additional questions, you can click on this button to get legal help. And it does take you to our partner site where you can put in a question that will get answered by an attorney in your area. It's really affordable. It's only $5 for a 7-day trial and then $53 a month after that. I've used it myself. So I used this on a commercial lease. I had a question about the lease and I got paired with an attorney who retired a while ago, and he just answers questions now on this site. And he was so thorough. It was actually really nice to have someone who cared. So I do suggest using that if you do need additional help outside of just what our website offers. And so that's a fantastic resource. We have a bookstore as well. We'll be updating this soon with some better books in a bit. I think some of the books in there we've had up there for a while, so we're looking at really bumping this up soon. For now, also on this side, we have different topics and webinars. So similar to the webinar that you're on, if you do like webinars, you can go here to view all the webinars. These are the ones that are coming up live. You can also look at all of our recorded webinars if you want to go on demand, or our courses. The courses are like 1 to 3 hours. Most of them are free. Same thing with the webinars. Some of them you do need to pay for, but you will know when you click on them whether or not that's the case. But essentially, if you wanted to go here, let's say, and look at investing as a topic, you click done, and then you get here just a ton of content on all kinds of investing topics that we've done over the years. I believe we've done at this point over 200 of these. I started doing webinars in 2015. So it's been a while. We have a lot of content here. And you can simply just click here and it'll just take you to the video. If you're logged in, if you're not logged in, then it'll ask you to log in to view it. But certainly a great resource if you all are into learning about, specific topics. You can look it up here. Okay, let's see where we're left off with now. I have just a couple more things. One is our forms. So forms is the option here in the menu that you see. I'm going to go to forms all just to show you what this looks like, although I am logged in. So let me go ahead and log out so you can see this a little better. So forms and all. Here we go. So this gives you a
And
list.
Alexandra,
Yeah.
real quick, Alexandra, while you're doing that, I just want to encourage, if you do have a question top of mind, as Alexandra shares, the other resource here, please put in the Q&A box because we're want to make sure your questions get answered. So I'll probably answer one or
Yes.
two.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think I'll be able to wrap this up in the next 5 minutes or so.
No problem.
So, this page has here, as you can see on the right, free. These are all of our free forms. So I also would encourage you to take a look at these if you are especially involved more actively with tenants. These are some great forms. Other ones, business forms, these are premium. You do have to pay for them, but I know for you all, you might want to take a look at some of these LLC forms, partnership and joint venture forms. These are all customizable, state specific. And even if you are planning to use an attorney, it's kind of nice to start with something. So often what I see is with these kind of agreements, we'll have, someone kind of print out one of these and then the attorney kind of works on it from there. So this can be a huge resource for you all. We also have other kind of like financial forms. So it's not just tenant to landlord forms. It can really be any kind of legal form. We have over 150 of them. So this is something, as I mentioned, where the free forms are free. These are not, but it is included with membership if you did want to become a member with us. A paying member, I should say. So the last part I'll go over here is our vendor partner discounts. So under the solutions tab, we have our property management software partners. I know some of you are familiar with some of these. Inago is, I know, a friend of real estate investor. So certainly one of ours as well. We also love them. And we have a few more here that you may have heard of. And these are, again, some that we've vetted that offer specific discounts for AAOA. You'll see there's a promo code here and whatnot. Also, another one is smart access control. That's a huge one. So if you're looking for smart locks for your rentals, here is a great place to go and look at some options. And discounts. If you want to see some of the discounts available to all AOA members, we have a few here at the top. And then these are more exclusive for our members who pay for membership, but you could still access some of these. I actually use the Sherwin-Williams and the wholesale hotel rates one pretty often. So it's a great discount. It's not just a, 5%. It can actually make a difference. The other last thing here is the vendor directory. So if you are looking for like a local sort of maintenance provider, you can search by category and zip and then find someone that we vetted. You'll find someone almost in every search, and we've really tried to fill this out. The other thing that is not yet launched, but I'm really excited to share with you all, and it's also going to be free is our hire a vetted contractor. So if you are looking to hire a vetted contractor, as Liz said, I don't know if you've been on Thumbtack or any of those sort of websites, but when you put in a request, for some reason, you get like 10 emails from different providers and different maintenance people. And sometimes you just want one. So with this service, if you click to book it, it's going to hook you up with a single provider based on where you are and what you're looking for. And it'll give you a quote right away. So there's no negotiating. It's just, this is the price, and then you go forward with it. And it really depends on how soon you want them out there, or what the job is. So this is, I think, going to be a really great tool, not out yet, but coming soon. And if you are in our circle with our newsletter, you will definitely know about it. The other last thing here in our coming soon section, so let me go there. And then I'll finish here. So coming soon, here we go. We're also going to be launching the AAOA MasterCard, which is going to give you 5% cash back on home improvement stores, AAOA, anything you purchase on AAOA, and any accounting or property management software. So that's coming soon too. You don't have to pay for membership to get the card if it's something that you are looking to get to really hone in on those home improvements, or like if you're doing a remodel or any kind of value add, this would be a great card to have. We're also going to be launching our community where you can ask questions and get answers from our members or staff, maintenance management, which I just went over, and then renters insurance, which we talked about, but also renters utility setup as well. So they can set up their own utilities and really just provide a more concierge service to the renters. So that really, really covers it. The other last thing I wanted to go over, I'm going to skip through this, is our rental housing conference. So our rental housing conference is coming up in Long Beach, California, or you can live stream it online. So if you can't come out to see us in person, that's okay. We will give you a YouTube link where you can access the live stream. It's going to be on Wednesday, October 16th. And it'll be an all-day thing. It's just a one-day conference, but we're going to be covering a ton of different topics. I'll share with you all the link to it later, but for now, we are offering the event for free to all investor and everyone who is on this call today. So if you want to email me directly, this is my email. I will save you a ticket. Let me know if you want to come in person or if you want to come virtually. In person, obviously, it's at some point we have limited capacity, so that's definitely the priority. Live stream, we can always fit you in, but if you do want to come in person, absolutely let me know. I would love to give you a ticket to come and spend the day with us and with all of our fantastic speakers. And I know you all, love networking. If you are looking to network with real estate investors, that's going to be the primary audience. Most of them are going to be pretty active investors that are looking to invest. We are also likely going to have some property managers, but for the most part, it's going to be the real estate investors. That's what we're really trying to target here with the content. So if you're looking for partners or networking opportunities, this is a great place to come in person. I know it's a little out of the way for some of you, but if you can make it, I'd love to see you all. So I think I'll pause there and stop sharing.
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't see any questions, but I'd love to hear, what is your takeaway? What is one thing you're going to do as a result of today's webinar? Got a lot of great wheels turning. There's so many resources you guys have. And I just think that's amazing and helpful, and we need all the tools we can get. So let me see here. My takeaway, just join AAOA. That's right.
Yeah.
Amazing tool, painfully unaware this existed, just signed up.
Yeah.
Great. I think that's the key to anything, right, Alexandra, is to do one thing with what we learned so that this becomes more active than passive. Alexandra put her email in the chat box. Please reach out to her about attending this conference. They've been a really good partner of ours for giving some great things away during our conference. I know we'll continue to do stuff together. So I'm going to let everyone go. And also, lastly, just thanks so much for being on here, Alexandra. And for anyone that qualifies for our Strive program as well, check that out. We would love for you to consider learning more about it and joining us and seeing if that's a fit for you. So, and keep showing up in our community, do something with what you learned today. That is the key to anything. And that's why we exist, quite honestly. So Alexandra, thank you so much. This is a wonderful, like fire hose of information so we can really jump into some resources and know where to go, right? It's about knowledge and it's about taking action. So thanks for
Yes, of
being here today.
course. Yes, and don't hesitate to reach out to me, everyone, even if it's unrelated to the conference. My email is always open for you all. So thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you everyone so much for being on. Stay tuned for more events to come. And thank you for being here. We don't take that lightly. So thanks again, everyone. Have a great day and take that action immediately. Bye, everyone.
Bye.